What up, YouTube? It's Eternity with God again. This video, as you can see, is going to be: do you have to confess your sins to a priest for God to forgive you? No, you don't. A lot of churches, actually, if you go to, they have confessional stalls, meaning you have to go into the confession. You have to confess your sins to a priest on the other side, and he'll supposedly God forgives your sins through him, and your sins have been forgiven. A priest cannot forgive your sins. Only God has the power to forgive your sins. B, they have you say all like Hail Marys or something like that afterwards for you to be forgiven of your sins. Not true. Not true. You can actually be forgiven of your sins just when you're alone at your house. You can just ask God for forgiveness, confess your sins to God, and ask Him to forgive you of them. He will. You don't have to go to church to get your sins forgiven by a priest in a confessional stall. No. You can confess your own sins to God yourself, alone at your house. So that being said, there's no Hail Marys or anything required to forgive you of your sins. Absolutely not. And a priest can't forgive your sins. Only God has the power to forgive you of your sins, not a priest. A priest will be like, tell me your sins. And then you confess your sins to him. And then he says, your sins have been forgiven, my son. You can't forgive sins unless if you're God or Jesus. Absolutely not. No, you can't. So I really hope you guys get encouraged by this video, because your sins will not be forgiven by confessing them to a priest at a confession stand in a church. No, absolutely not. No, you can actually confess them to God at your house, wherever you are at, and He will forgive you of your sins. You don't confess your sins to another human being. No other human being in the world can forgive you of sins, unless if they're God, which is totally absurd. So that being said, right there, I hope you guys choose not to go to a confessional stall at a church and ask the priest, or confess your sins to a priest and have him forgive you, because your sins won't be forgiven by a priest. Your sins can be forgiven by God Himself. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. See you next time.